husband, my two older teenage kids. I can't believe I'm approaching that age where, I have one leaving the nest soon and one who will be on her way to leave the nest soon. I have two dogs, and I have this business, Gentle Coaching. I am a coach for women who are just really ready to just own their stuff, own their lives, and make a move, make bold moves. So the gentle is kind of a fun word. It's a play on my name, so it's gentle with a J, and it's an acronym. Those letters stand for words that are really significant to me. They're the pillars, the principles of my business. So J for joy, E for empowerment, N for nourishment, like how we need to nourish our souls. T for tribe, meaning that we just need a tribe of support to get us through. And that tribe does not have to be big. It could be one really significant person that provides connection and support. Um, L for love, meaning we need to start with that love of self to get anywhere. And that final E, to feel good enough. We just have to know that we are enough for anything, good enough, smart enough, pretty enough. Um, just to look in the mirror and know worthy enough. It just starts with being enough. And so that is the foundation of the work that I do. And then there's my podcast that I started in January, which began as one thing. It was interviews with women connected to something in sports. Maybe they were athletes, coaches, some sort of job in the sports world, sports moms, super fans. Then it pivoted recently when I realized while I preach authenticity, I did not seem to be standing in my own authenticity. And that seemed kind of contradictory. So just as of the last couple weeks, I pivoted slightly, rebranded, and I'm now interviewing women with just really incredible stories, with messages of inspiration and hope and um, light to show the rest of the world, the rest of mostly women, will say, listening, that no matter what you've been through, whether it's bad relationships, hard times, tough upbringing, big T, little t, it doesn't matter. We're all connected through challenge, and these messages of I made it through, I'm hoping whoever's listening will hear and know I I can make it through too. It not to say, not to minimize whatever someone is listening is going through, but hopefully they'll hear, oh, that chick went through um, domestic violence, and she came out the other side. So I'm going through this eviction and I'm on hard times. Hopefully I can hear her message and carry that with me while I'm struggling, and take that nugget as I'm just as I'm grinding through.
I think that's a perfect story, right? Because, well, I'll share since you're sharing, right? Is when I first started this 2.5 years ago, I was interviewing people at the gym. And as we were talking, I was hoping to get more men on my show. So what I did was anyone and everyone at the gym I was talking to, if someone helped me with like a set, or how they would spot me. I would say, "Hey, my name is Terrain, and I have a podcast talking about why people want to get fit." So I started similar to you, where it's like people that were athletic in nature, but they were like more gym goers and fitness, and it was pretty good for the time. But then I decided to pivot similar to you because when I started to hear the reasons why these people got into the gym, many of them were shamed as a child for being overweight. Many of them
Mm,
were bullied by their parents for eating and looking a certain way. So I was like, wow, you have these men who are, let's say, like 6'2", they're really big, right? But
wow.
for a long time inside, there was still that little boy that was getting bullied. Or you have these girls who were so lean and they were strong, they were fast, but they still looked at themselves as this overweight girl being bullied. And one thing
Yeah.
I began to connect was my audience likes to hear that, right? They
Hmm.
want to hear the journey, not the end story. So that's when I began to pivot. And then it started to focus on, like, okay, let's say the mental health and the relationships. And then you get to see, Jenny, how, wow, like this person looks like they have it all, but deep down, they don't like themselves. They can't make it work.
Yes.
Was that like an aha moment for you as well?
Yes. Yes. And is that where you got the name for the show?
Absolutely. It was peeking behind the shade. So to
Yes.
answer your question, what I did was going around in my 20s, I used to wear shades because I didn't want people looking in my eyes, right? And that could have been like an insecurity thing or just me not wanting to make eye contact. But then I felt like I was hiding something. So I was like, okay, how many people have their own version of shades that they're hiding? It could be makeup, it could be hair extensions, it could be clothes, it could be a turtleneck. So that's how I got the show Behind the Shades. Like peek behind and see, is Terrain really that way? Is Jenny
Mm.
really that way? Like Jenny wanted to be authentic, right? She wanted to do this, she wanted to do that, she wanted to curse a little bit. Show the real Jenny, right? Show the real Terrain. So that's how I came across that show. Did you experience a moment like that as well?
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I just it's so funny because I just put a post on my local, we have a local Facebook page in my town, and I put something out there last week, and I don't often post anything on the mom's page because I just again, maybe I'm hiding. I'm feeling inauthentic, and how do I connect in my town feeling insecure? And so I finally just put something on this page, and I started it as vulnerability post, or I'm something about being um it was something like vulnerability share or something like that. And I said something, we're allowed to post about our businesses once a week. So I really wanted to just do a business post, but not have it be salesy. So I figured, all right, I'm going to do something different and not, not be, do something, whatever I've been doing the last year hasn't gotten the likes that I've wanted. So I'm going to try something different, shake it up. And instead, I just took off the mask, I shed the layers, and I put it out there and said, you know what, guys, this is not an easy town to live in. We it I have often struggled with my confidence, and I shared that when I saw, here's me, I'm going to share it here. Um, so you probably remember the movie Clueless. Alicia Silverstone, okay? It was a very popular movie. I love that movie. I love her. But I remember, I'm dating myself here, but I saw that movie in the movie theater when it came out. And, truth bomb here. I saw that movie and I cried. It's a comedy, Trent. It's a comedy. You're supposed to laugh at that movie. You're probably supposed to laugh the entire time. I cried. Why did I cry? I cried because I spent the entire time comparing myself to her, to Alicia Silverstone, who is a similar age to me and is drop dead gorgeous. And in that movie, she was perfect hair, perfect face, perfect figure. And of course, her character is wearing all the clothes and, the designer outfits. And, she gets the guy in the end and living the Beverly Hills life. And I was so insecure with myself at that time that all I did was sit there feeling like a fat slob in the movie theater, just feeling ugly and so, so uncomfortable in my skin. And so I wrote in this Facebook post that story of seeing that movie, crying, feeling so awful about myself, and that it took, and I felt that way about myself through my 20s, through my 30s, through half of my 40s, until at the age of 45 during COVID, like everybody else stuck in my house, I was scrolling Instagram and saw, for whatever reason, the stars aligned, and I saw an ad for a life coach. And it was specific for whatever reason. Why do things happen? Why did I meet you? For whatever reason, it was a life coaching program for body issues. And it was specific actually, um, to starting the day before I saw that ad. It was a 30-day program. It started the day before, and I said, I'll start a day late. I clicked, I bought now, and I did that program. I did the next thing that coach offered, and the next thing. And that started my journey. That started my healing journey. And I followed the breadcrumbs, and that coach introduced me to her mentor that certified her. I took a life coaching program and I got certified, and I got certified in breath work, and I followed the breadcrumbs. And that is the, 30-second story of how I became a life coach. And it was just an incredible light bulb moment for me that's what that Facebook post shared, is how I struggled up until the age of 45, until I finally did the work, started that personal development journey of diving into why did I hate myself, and unpacking all of that conditioning so that I could break through and shed all of that crap and allow myself to look in the mirror and begin to accept, to then begin to love. And it was work, work, deep inner work, which I want to share with others. And that was the whole point of that post, to not be salesy, but to be sherry, and say, I did this for me. I want to show you what's possible.
And that's something that isn't easy to do. Like can how many people when they walk past a mirror, they see something that they have to change,
Yeah.
right? Like
Or
it's
avoid looking altogether.
avoid looking. So it's like I can find, not me personally, everyone, but I can find something wrong in everybody else, but can I equally find it as easily within myself? And if I'm able to have that conversation with myself, how truthful am I going to be? Because I was at a point in my life where I had to be very, very honest. And the conversations that I was having at times made me feel very sad, but they were necessarily because I had to grow as a person. And for you, Jenny, like you went through that, you're helping the women go through that. What is something that you think is perhaps blocking some women for from achieving it. Not maybe as fast as they want to, but just achieving it in general.
Well, okay. So I think blocking, okay, so there's blocking from achieving seeing what's possible or seeing their own beauty.
I would say seeing their own beauty because I think that's a very important first step,
Hmm.
right? Because there's some people, like I'll give you an example. There's some women that I work with. There's two. They have a hard time of seeing the beauty within themselves, and I communicate with them, even though our sessions are weekly. I communicate with them a few times during in text message, and they have a difficult time, right? So one thing that I do is I say, okay, write down 5 things you don't like about yourself. And when they write it down, because it's so easy, they're like, Train, I'm finished in 2 minutes. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you're gonna take some time. It's like they had what
Yeah.
they didn't like about themselves already in their mind. So I said,
Yeah.
okay, then the opposite would have to be true of what you would like. So let's get you those 5 things, which is the opposite of what you don't like. So that's an example that I would like to share.
Yeah. It it's amazing. We are just so conditioned to find flaws. And it's like how easily can you accept a compliment? Even it's the simple oh, I love that dress. This old thing, eh, you know, can someone even just say, "Oh, I know, isn't it great? Like I love this dress."